Hello everyone, I'm Farmer Sim and welcome to my new Let's Play series here on this quite frankly gorgeous map, Zielonka. I do hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it Zielonka? Zielonka? Regardless, it's a beautiful place. It really is. When it comes to maps, they've got to have an atmosphere. That's what draws me to them. Obviously, we all know what Court Farms is like and what Carmsden was like before that, and obviously there's plenty of others. Edgewater did it for me. Atmosphere. Now, I appreciate Giant's Editor and whatever other tools that map makers use for creating maps doesn't have an atmosphere setting. It's all down to the way that the map maker creates the place and sets things out. And yeah, since this was released a couple of days ago, I'm extremely heavily drawn to it. What can I say? It's the authenticity of the feel of the place is one of the main things that brought me to it. I love the detail of the buildings, the new buildings in the premium expansion that Giants have done for us. Things like that, just the breaking in the render on the walls of the buildings. This is my chicken pasture, but yeah, just things like that. Just the damage, the breaking apart, and the wear in the render. I just find really, really nice. Just really nice attention to detail. Obviously that affects no part of the gameplay. It's still the same game, but having this kind of stuff around you just makes it feel like it's old. It's been there for a long time. It's been there for ages, and yeah, really like it. So this is our starter farm. This is the starter farm that I've decided to go with. If I pop into the map, it is this one here, down towards the bottom of the map in the middle. I have changed it a little bit from what it was when I first started up the game. The game gives you one of the base game silos. There was a shed over here, and I think this shed was different, but essentially I deleted all of those and did a bit of groundwork, a bit of landscaping, just to set the place up. I have placed down this nice twin silo here that has a capacity of 2,000 litres. It's a multi-fruit silo, I think. Yeah, multi-fruit. So yeah, we got that down. All the buildings so far that we have in front of us and around us are now base game. These are the things that have come with the premium expansion, and as I say, I really like them. They're beautifully made buildings, they really are. We have this workshop here, a twin garage workshop that's got a few bits of kit in. I'll show you around that in a few moments time. We have this lovely wooden shed, which is quite limited size wise. You can't reverse a tractor into it. You can reverse a topless tractor into it, as I say, one without a roof, like the Zetor that we have over there. I'll show you around that in a minute. But we do also have this nice big workshop, which has our bigger bits of kit in there. We have our harvester in there, one of the tractors. As I say, we'll go around that in a minute. And this is my farmhouse. Again, just a beautifully modelled thing. It really is. Obviously, I know I can't go into it. We just have the good old sleep trigger out here. That's all it is, but yeah, lovely stuff. So, kit, what have we got? We've not got a huge amount. I've tried to start as basic as possible, or as basic as necessary. We've got a couple of tractors, we've got a harvester, we've got a few implements to drag behind them. 3 tractors, sorry. We've got the... well, where should I start? I'll start with this one, because this is my favourite one. Now, I know, base game-wise, if you were to start this save regardless, without doing anything, it does start you with the Fiat Agri 180/90. But this one is Edo Mods Fiat Agri 180. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is the one, I bought this with the HD texture pack, so it does come... This is actually clean, believe it or not. So one of the textures that's within this texture pack is... I can't remember, he kind of terms it like a terracotta brown destroyed look. So the wheels are covered in muck. The metal work all over the place is, if you have a look right up close, you see the pitting on the metal and stuff there, and all around the framework of the tractor. It's absolutely gorgeous. It really is. Much higher file size than the standard stuff. I appreciate that, but it was well worth it. Beautiful thing, really is. So we have that. That is one of our main tractors. We have this beautiful little thing. We have a Zetor 5545. I think it's got about 50 horsepower, so it's not good for a huge amount, but what it can do is... There's one or two things it can do, and we'll go through that shortly. Now, I have tried my utmost to keep the vehicles and the kit that we have as geographically correct as I can. There's a couple of examples where, for example, the New Holland combine harvester, technically that's not necessarily geographically correct. I appreciate that all brands are all over the world, don't get me wrong. It's not like you're never going to find a John Deere or a Class or a Case or even a New Holland in this part of the world, but it's a nice old school, hopefully relatively authentic combine harvester. New Holland TC59 doesn't have a particularly large capacity or a particularly large header, but I feel it feels and looks quite nice, quite frankly. We have this IMT 5210 tractor. Now this is available on the Mod Hub. It's a beautiful thing. I have tried to pay attention to the country of origin of various bits of kit. So IMT is a Serbian brand, so it's relatively nearby-ish. It's from this side of the globe, as it were. What else do we have? Zitor is Czechoslovakian. And I know Fiat Agri is Italian, but it's it's European, so I felt it, and plus, as I say, the base game stuff gives you that anyway, doesn't it? So I felt I was justified in just removing the base game one and sticking this one in instead, just because of the, as I say, the attention to detail, the noises, everything. It's absolutely stunning. So where should we start? Where do I start? Right, let's go back in here. So yeah, as I say, we've got the IMT 5210. Serbian tractor, beautiful thing. It's I can't quote you the horsepower yet. I'll tell you that shortly. We have this Rostselmash cultivator. Rostselmash is Russian. Everything is dirty and worn. I hope that just gives another element of authenticity to what we've got. We haven't actually got a jet washer on the farm yet, so that's something we need to be able to afford in the near future. So yeah, we have the Rostselmash cultivator. We have the ASUS T127 bale loader. Those of you who have seen me and Mrs. Singamer actually on our Court Farms series, I have that on there as well, but because obviously ASUS being a Polish brand, I figured that was I was justified in having that one. We have this class old Roland 66 baler. It's not a wrapper, it's just a simple 125 centimeter baler. We have the PB5032 field roller. This is what's the brand? Sorry, it's JZD Slusovic. Now this is a Czechoslovakian brand. Again, I've got this on Court Farms in a slightly different design, but it's a great piece of kit. It was very cheap, which is why I was drawn to it, and it's a very good bit of equipment, so I was happy to have that again on this save. Yep, we've got, as I pointed a few minutes ago, we've got the New Holland TC59 combine harvester, which is a beautiful thing, in my personal opinion. Over here, we have, quite simply, we've got the header and header trailer for the combine harvester. And we also have this Sarmat trailer. This is a Russian brand again. I felt it looks and feels quite right, even with the text and the graphics down the side. I feel it's perfect for this neck of the woods, for this area of the world. In here, let's open this big door here. We have pretty simple rudimentary seeder. This is the Isaria Type 6000S. Very basic. This is a base game thing. I think it has a capacity of about 1,000 litres for seed. So we've got that, so we can get some crop into the ground as and when needed. We have our Grimmy GF400. Now these are pieces of equipment from the premium expansion. This is stuff that allows us to get vegetables into the ground. Red beet, parsnips and carrots. We're nowhere near the time of year to be able to do anything with these yet, but we've got them anyway. So yeah, this is the GF400. What this does, this essentially creates ridges in your field in order for you to be able to plant the aforementioned vegetables. So you essentially run this in the field, creating the ridges, and then you can drill the products. This is the DeWolf P3CL Profi. Essentially it's a harvester for those vegetables. It's a really nice thing. It's a really cool thing the way this works. Once it's unfolded, it's very narrow. The width, that's essentially the pickup, so it's going to take a very long time to do any kind of a field, but it's new. It seems quite interesting. I'm excited to get working in the field with this stuff. But essentially, the way this works is it picks the stuff out of the ground and then it loads things into wooden pallet boxes that you load up onto a set of forks that fold out pretty much here. It's one of these boxes here. This DeWolf crate wooden box. That's there because I was figuring out how to use this thing. And you essentially purchase boxes as you go along. And you can see there, that's the auger that the root crops climb up, and then they drop into that wooden box that sits on forks here, and then I'm assuming from there you drop the box onto the ground, and you're then left to pick them up with some form of forklift truck machine, front loader with some forks on. Yep, that's that. And over here, attached to our lovely old Zetor, we have the vegetable planter. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Bumped into the door there. Yep, this is a relatively narrow Cavernaland Mini Air Nova Rigid planter. This plants our red beet, parsnip and carrots into the ground. Now, this is one of the things that this tractor can do. It doesn't require a huge amount of horsepower, so hence why at the minute it is hooked up to the back of this. What we also have over here in the wooden shed that the Zetor should be able to hopefully do at some point when we get round to it is we have our solid fertilizer and lime spreader. Now this is a SIPMA, sorry, a Polish branded spreader, lime and solid fertilizer spreader. I figured I'd stick it in here. As I say, there's not a huge amount I can do with this. You can't reverse tractors into it because the roof of the tractor bumps into the door frame. I might be able to squeeze the little Zetor in here to reverse things in, but you are very limited. It's a beautiful workshop. It's a lovely shed. Very authentic, I feel, but quite limited. This is the only door. So I'm quite limited to be able to put stuff in here. I could obviously, you know, once we maybe in the future, if we grab bags of seed and stuff, I might be able to store them in here. But the only way of me getting them in here tidily is by using super strength, because I'm not going to be able to get a telehandler in here or a forklift truck or anything, because the door's too, well, too short, essentially. So that's essentially where we are kit-wise on the farm. And we have some chickens over here, and we've got that trailer over there. I'll show you that in a minute. We've got 8 chicks and chickens all together. We have 1 rooster, we have 3 female chickens, and we have 2 male and 2 female chicks. There they are. They all need some food, so they have nothing at the minute, so we need to grab something to sort them out ASAP. And I do have this old bale, or well, flat trailer essentially, so I can pick up bags or pallets of seed and fertilizer from the shop. We can pick up our pallets of root crops eventually when they come around. Well, you know the score. We can do flat trailer things with this flat trailer. And I have also placed down this decorational garage just for the purposes of making it look like we've got a few more buildings going on. Even though this was in the decorations section. Now this is obviously part of the premium expansion as well. But even though we've been used to over the since the game was released, anything in the decoration side of things hasn't really been able to be interacted with. But this has a openable garage door, even though it's not actually opening for me right now. I need to move that out of the way in order to demonstrate that, so forgive me. Let's just move that out of the way very quickly. But yeah, there we go. We have a garage door. Again, the patina in here is wonderful. Just the broken plasterboard, the chipped paintwork or whatever it is on the inside of here. It's just lovely. It really is. So yeah, that's what we got there. Again, there's nothing in that garage yet, but I just put it there for the purposes of adding a little bit of stuff to the farm, as it were. So yeah, that's pretty much that. And the workshop, obviously, this is part of the premium expansion. Really nice thing. Really nice thing. Really happy with what's come with the premium expansion. I really am. So that's the farm. That's the kit. So far, anyway. Let's have a look at our fields. What land do we own? So let's jump into the PDA. We own Field 61 here, which has currently has a crop of corn growing in it. Now, we don't have a corn header. We can't do anything with that at the minute. That is growing at the minute. In this field here, we have a field of oats that is ready to harvest. It's field 62. In field 63, we have a field of wheat that is ready to harvest. And in field 59, it is an empty ploughed field ready to put something in. Now, at the minute, the only crop we can really plant at the minute is canola. Scrolling right up to the top, we're in harvest season for wheat and oat and, where are we? Potatoes, sorghum, the usual poplar and grass and oilseed radish, and also the 3 new crops added to the game, red beet, carrots and parsnips. All those are within harvest season, but all we have at the minute is wheat and oat. But we can plant canola, so I'm considering popping some canola in the empty field. But I think what would be prudent of me to start off with is to get what crops we have ready to harvest out the ground and into our silo, and a tiny little portion of this is going to go towards feeding our chickens. Now, I've done no field prep in any of the fields that we own, as you can see from the precision farming data that we have. Okay, the pH value says okay, it's not great, but the nitrogen is awful. We have an expected yield of 68% on the sandy loam part of this field. Over in the oat field, and obviously there's lots of weeds, you can see all that obviously, and over here we have pretty much the same, a relatively okay level of pH in the field, but a terrible nitrogen level. Expected yield of 78% in this area of sandy loam, again full of weeds. So we're going to get it harvested. We're going to get what we can out of this, because as you can see, we have £15,000 in the bank. As always, when it comes to the way I run my games, I have everything. I have economic difficulty turned to hard. That's just standard as far as I'm concerned. I always have everything turned to hard on economic difficulty in all the games I play. So yeah, so I think we need to make a start, really, don't we? So I think the first thing we need to do is jump in the harvester and get harvesting and get stuff tipped into the silo. Now, as I usually do, as I've done in all of my previous series so far, I do run Courseplay and Auto Drive because I like to make cinematics throughout my videos. So in order for me to be able to do that, Courseplay and Auto Drive are absolutely vital for those things. So we're going to jump into the field of wheat, the field of oat, and get that harvested and get it tipped into our silo. Now also, before we get into that, there is one harvesting contract available on the map. During the setup of this, what I did, I don't know whether some of you might have just noticed, then I just creeped the time back to the one correct real time, as it were. Sorry, I had slowed down time, and at some point I had stopped time while I created a little bit of an auto drive network. I haven't mapped out the whole map yet, but I do have a chunk of the roads and 1 or 2 of the cell points hooked into the auto drive network, and the silo and the farm, of course. But while I was doing that, there was no contracts on the map whatsoever. As soon as I've now come into this to make a start on the recording and actually get going on it and put the time back up to 1, we have 1 harvesting contract. And coincidentally, it's that field there in the distance. If I pop into the into the contracts menu, there we go, field 65. We have a wage, a payment of £4,349 that we can earn from that, and we take the wheat to the farmer's market, which I have hooked up to the auto-drive network. So I feel it would be very sensible for us to do that, to get as much money in as possible, because we're not really going to make anything from the, initially anyway, from the wheat that we harvest in these fields, and the oat. We're just going to get them tipped into the silo, see what we get from them, and then we shall crack on with the harvesting contract. Now, I think I may well, there may be a couple of cinematics coming up. I'm going to pop the harvesting of these 2 in, and obviously the running back and 2 of the tractor and trailer to the silo here. Pop that into a cinematic, and I may well do the same thing for the harvesting contract over there. But we shall see, because we could also run the seeder in here and get some canola in the ground. To do that, I would need to take a trip to the shop and go and pick up some seed. So, yeah, undecided about the approach with there yet. So, as I say, we shall start off with the harvesting. So, let's do exactly that. Let's get ourselves, what do I need to do? We'll pull the header out so we can hook it up to the harvester. There we go. To our lovely Fiat. Even the noise it makes, you hear the whistling wastegate then as I let off the accelerator. Sounds like a Subaru. There we go. Oof, what happened there? Right, let's pull this out. There we go. And let's jump into our harvester and get this working for the first time. As I said, this thing doesn't have a particularly large capacity. Neither does the trailer, for that matter of fact. There we go. But yeah, I've always been quite drawn to these older, more simpler pieces of equipment, harvesters and tractors and stuff. I think they just look incredible and feel incredible. Right, so let's hook up the header. There we go. Let's pull this out of here. Give ourselves a bit of room. We need to connect up the PTO. Can get close enough. There we go. Cables and PTO. Right, let's get ourselves out of here. Now, this is the first harvester I think I've used where you don't actually need to unfold it before using it. You know, like when you normally get into a harvester and you've got to open the hopper, essentially, don't you? Not with this one. But obviously this is wheat, so we can get some straw. So I need to enable the straw swath. There we go. Because we need all the help, all the financial help, and all the stuff we can get from here at the minute. Now that we're starting afresh. So as I said, I'm going to pop this into a cinematic. We're going to get this lot picked up and stuck into the silo, as the oat field there as well. And I shall pick you all back up in a wee while when we're done. Right, there we go. Our first bit of harvesting done in episode 1. Quite happy with that. So let's get the kit back to the farm and go through some numbers and see what menial amounts of crops we've got in our silo. Right, let's go check out what we haven't got in here, shall we? Right, so 6,190 litres of oats and 12,789 litres of wheat. Now, the oat, which came from the smaller field behind the shed here, that was pretty much half a trailer's load. So the yield wasn't particularly good on that, and obviously the wheat, I think we just got more because the field was bigger, because the yield was clearly a bit rubbish. Let's see if we have a quick peek into the precision farming menu. There we go, yield. Yeah, goodness me, what that looks like at 70%, 65 to 70% maybe, but at best, and 60 and field 62. Colour-wise, I'd have said 75 to 80% in that one, but either way, it can be better with a bit of field prep. Get rid of the weeds, give the soil a good dose of nutrition with lime and fertilizer, etc., etc. So, as I said before, we have the field contract that we could take on there in the distance, which I think would be a sensible thing to do. Oh, and I forgot to point out, yeah, we have a plough as well, part of a Polish plough pack that was from the Mod Hub. Yeah, just a simple rudimentary plough there. Forgot to point that out earlier on. Yeah, so we need to pop some of the wheat into the chicken pen there to keep them fed. Make some use of that, and yeah, as I say, we want to take on that contract. But what I also missed, I think, yes, I have a baler, so we can bale up the straw if I wanted to, but I don't have any method of picking up the bales, do I? So what I think I might do, possibly, is make our first purchase in respect of a very simple forage wagon. I'm sure we've all seen one of these ones before. It's I think it costs about £5,600. There we are at the end there, an Agromet Opalenica for 5,600 quid. So yeah, because we have a multi-fruit silo, this will enable me to pick the straw up, tip it into the silo, yeah, and essentially and keep hold of it. I'm pretty sure I can put straw in here, actually. I don't want to eat my words and buy this thing and yeah, well, that would be a bit of a terrible thing, wouldn't it? Yeah. Or might it be better to buy something that I can handle bales with? Oh, I'm going to have to ponder that one, aren't I? Although saying that, no, I think it would be a wise idea to get the pickup wagon, because in the future, obviously, when we move forward, I haven't really discussed what we plan on doing. I think we're just going to, when it comes to this Let's Play, we're just going to do what a Let's Play does and just carry ourselves forward and see where the mood takes us, see where the money takes us, the land, the money, the crops, what we're going to do. We may well get some cows, in which case I may well need some loose straw, in which case buying the pickup wagon would be a sensible thing. I could do with finding out if I can pop straw in there, though. I'll find that out. I can do something to find out, anyway. Right, so let's go stick some wheat in the chickens. In fact, let's shift this out the way first. Stick it over here for now. So, what do you think of my harvester, everyone? Do you like it? Does the sound it makes annoy you? It did great on me at first, but it's got like quite a loud gearbox whine to it, hasn't it? But yeah, it seems like it's a really good thing. It's behaved very well on course play. No errors whatsoever. It does have a wobble to it. As I was unloading the combine into the trailer, it's got a wage payment. Oh yeah, that was the course play wages that I've just turned off. Yeah, it's got like a shake to it when it is unloading into the trailer. It just sits there and shakes. But it does seem to be quite highly detailed, because when you look underneath it, all the implements and the machinery underneath here were working away, moving and wobbling, and the vehicle seemed to be vibrating in time to all of that. So whether that is an intended effect from the mod maker, I'm not too sure. But either way, it's half decent. It'll do. So let's start this thing up. We can reverse ourselves back up to the silo very quickly. Now the chickens aren't going to take a large amount of food at all, so let's just go to about there. Yeah, we want a bit of wheat. Right, that should be enough, because I'm still going to have to come over here and tip some of it back out again. With us having so few chickens and chicks, I think the amount of food they take is absolutely tiny, so we'll just make sure they've got something. I'll make sure I don't run over any of them. There we go. There we go, yeah. A tiny amount. Let's just check. Right, there we go. Okay. 750 litres. Not a lot at all. Right, so let's tip this back in here. I think what I am going to do, I'm going to make the... I'm going to check first to see if this silo takes takes straw. So what I can actually do, don't worry, I'm not going to benefit from any of this. I'm just going to go into the easy dev mode. I'm going to fill my trailer with straw. There we go. Right, there we go. The tip trigger does work for straw. So let's empty that. There we go. Now I know that this silo can take straw, which is great. So let's go and buy ourselves that there forage wagon. Okay, so standard wheels, double... Oh yeah, you can get a free double axle trailer with this one, don't you? I always quite like the look of that one, so yeah, we'll go with that. We'll keep everything... Yeah, that costs, so we'll have some front decals though. Yeah, 50 quid for double decals, we'll have that. We'll does the colour cost us money? Nope, the colour doesn't cost us money either, so we'll go with a nice green. We'll keep that as a brown. We'll go for the wheels. Ivory wheels? Can we have silver wheels, or as close to silver as possible? Oh, that'll do, that'll do. Right. Purchase. Done. Right. So, we shall take a trip to the shop. Drop this trailer off here. Take a trip to the shop, go pick it up, and we'll pick up the straw and get that safely stowed away in the silo. And then the fields will then be ready to work on. Start prepping, won't they? So, we can do that because the store is hooked up to my auto drive network already. So there we go. Default. I do try and keep the names as they should be, so I'm not going to try pronounce that, or should I? Maznini Rolnica, maybe. Shop. Yeah. Go. Right, see you there in a few moments. Right, here we are. Let's hook this thing up. GTO and cables. So this is the maps shop. Mazzini Rolnica Barlex SP. Well, looks like it's some kind of web address, doesn't it? But yeah, forgive my naivety there. I'm not too sure what that means. Either way, this is the maps shop. So yeah, let's get this back to the farm and get picking up that straw, get it in the silo, see how much we get from it, and we'll no doubt come to sell it at some point when the price is right. As much money as we can get our hands on at the minute is what we want. Build up a bit of a financial nest egg, as it were, so we can start to afford to do a few more things. So yeah, we'll get ourselves back there. Let's see what I mean about the feel of the place. Just little buildings like that, just dotted around, and very keen to know your opinions on the map. If any of you have seen any of it yet, what do you think of it? Do you like it? Do you like my approach so far on this series? What you've seen so far? Do you like my choice of machinery? Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. A lot of the mods that I've got on here I've had for quite a while, especially the harvester. So if any of you, I'll do my best to try and find where it came from, but I've had that for so long. If any of you were to ask me for a link for it, I honestly wouldn't know where to look. But as I say, I will do my best that if any of you are interested in any of the mods that I have on here, I will do my best to post links to them when I get them, when I find them. But yeah. Right, so I shall pick you all back up in a wee while's time when all the straw is safely stowed away in the silo. Here we go. That's the last of it. Oh, look at that as well. 93, 94% full. And we've got it empty. So, turn that off. Oh, let's go and tip this into the silo, and I shall give you a rundown of what we've got in the silo in the way of straw now. Admittedly, the literage is considerably bigger than what we had got from the wheat and the oat, which you'd expect. But either way, if we get ourselves some cows in the future, at least we know now we've got their bedding covered. So there's that. Usually brings up a thing in the bottom corner, doesn't it? Oh, there we go. Right. 92,835 litres of straw, so that's brilliant. We can pop into our time-saving stock check menu to tell us what that's worth, so that's almost worth as much as the oat we got out of that field. So what we got there, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14,000... I think just over 15,000 pounds worth of stock in the silo at the minute. So that's not bad for episode 1. Admittedly, the yield was awful in both fields, but it's nice to know that if need be, I've got 15 grand's worth of stuff there we could sell if we absolutely had to. But I think I'm going to call it here for this first episode. Obviously, we've done a couple of harvests, we've picked up the straw, and have given you a relatively stretched out introduction to the place at the beginning, running through the kit we've got, the buildings we've got, etc, etc. But yeah, I think we are going to take on that harvesting contract in the field just over there, and I think we're going to crack on with that in the very beginning of the next episode, and also crack on with getting some seed drilled into the field here. So I'm obviously, you know, the next episode will pretty much carry on from where we are here. It's only 10:30 in the morning. With this being the start of a save, I have amended the days per month to 2, and that obviously isn't going to kick in till next month. So at the minute we've just got what's left of August here, so I think it's best to make as much of the time as possible. So the next episode will literally pick up from where we are here. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I really hope you've enjoyed the video and found this a little bit of fun and a bit interesting. I hope you like the farm that I've made here, the setup, and the choice of kit that I've got. As always, let me know what you think of everything in the comments section below. Any suggestions for me or anything like that, please hit me up. Always happy to read them and learn from them and respond to them. So yeah, thanks again, and I shall see you all in episode 2.